Good evening, everybody. Nice. Hear me? And please show me a thumbs up in the chat. See me and hear me? Just a thumbs up in the chat. I can see your thumbs up. Just to clarify, the number of people attending this class is huge, around 10, 15 of the world joining in, based that they'll be coming in. To a larger where we using a different technology, using because that kind of limits the number of users extent. So we are using it, and we feel like a new teacher in new classroom, because space for us as well. Everything on Zoom. Some comments that the water. Let me see. Let me look some things continuously, and if voice is fine, if you could just mention that if audio is. So the moment you feel that clearer, mention that now you can hear. I see a lot of here. Can you hear, like here? Okay, that's a concern. I think they're already. Let me try the system. 1 second. Hello. Is it any better, guys? No. So guys, can you hear me now? We're trying some new system. So guys, quick question. Any better? Is it audible? No, voice is breaking still, right? Try to do one more thing. I've changed one more thing, and I would love to get your some input from you. Uh, no, I think so. I'm going to try to leave and join again, and then let's see if it works. Let me try to leave and join again, and let's see if it works, right? Just sorry. Hi guys, can you hear me now? Let's try it this time with I've joined in from a different system, and what I'm trying to do now, use a completely new system, and let's see if it works now. So if you can hear me clearly, just give me a thumbs up and tell me that yes, you can hear me, so that then we can start with the session. Is it much better now? So on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best, where are we on voice now? Where are we on sound quality now? Give me a score from 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Uh, give me a score. How clearly can you hear now? Oh, nice. Somebody said 10. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, somebody said 15. I really like it. Nice. Alrighty. So then we are ready then. Superb. You see, new systems, just like going to a new school, just going to a new classroom, you're trying to figure out the systems. And we did a test run, right? We did maximum trials and errors and what all can be done so that thousands of people, if they join in from different platforms, by the way, this is now being live. Let's hope it stays great. Superb. Um, it's the first masterclass of the ITO exclusive, um, seminar, webinar, masterclass series. This masterclass is specifically only for those people who attempted the ITO. And the topic is curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Now, I have my way of conducting master classes is that I want you to be involved with me all the time, and that's why my request is whatever platform you have joined in from, most of the people in many of the countries, people would have joined through YouTube. Based on your location, different streams are being created for different people. Wherever you have joined in, please make sure that you have the chat enabled and you continuously keep participating in that. And that would show me on one clear dashboard whosoever is participating from wherever in the world, and I'd be able to see that. Okay. Quickly going ahead, here's my first question of the day. We are going to discuss a topic called curriculum, pedagogy, and technology today. And as per you, as per a teacher, as per an educator, what do you think? How long would it take somebody to even have the basic understanding? How long, how many hours somebody will have to put in to even develop a basic understanding of curriculum, pedagogy, and technology as a topic? How many hours do you think? Wild guess. I'm waiting for you, giving you 30 seconds to participate. How long do you think would somebody need to take? Uh, how many hours would somebody have to invest to learn curriculum, pedagogy, and technology? Somebody said 1 hour. Okay. If somebody is able to do 1 hour, okay, that makes sense. 4 to 5 hours, curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Got it. Sana Seher, you said, what's the use of chat if you don't read or answer our questions? You see, I can read your chat and I'm going to answer the questions as we go ahead. So don't worry about it. I can read everything that you're typing anywhere in different parts of the world on different platforms. Somebody said 36 hours, somebody saying 8 hours, 1 hour. Uh, you need to spend some time every single day. Okay, I got that. 50 hours. So guys, if you asked me that, Rishabh, I want to develop basic level understanding of curriculum, pedagogy, and technology, I think somebody would take a minimum of 50 to 100 hours based on your speed, based on your level, everything. A minimum of 50 to 100 hours to just learn, just reach a place where you can say that I understand curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Then, of course, we are looking at the answers like you have to continuously process. It has to be practiced continuously. It is much more than a couple of years. And yes, all of that, that's true. However, we have, say, now 1.5, quarter to 2 hours to touch upon this topic. And there has to be a very clear objective of this session. So when you came looking at the masterclass on curriculum, pedagogy, and technology, which is going to work, which is going to happen for 2 hours, what were the expectations that you had? What's your basic expectation on what are you going to be able to learn today? So everybody quickly spend 30 seconds and write down, what do you expect out of this masterclass today? What's your expectation? Very important question to answer, because till the time you're not clear about what you want, you'll never be able to get it. All of you who attended my ITO first masterclass when we were launching ITO, I had very clearly talked about defining the objective, what we want, what is the area of our life that we want to be impacting. So clearly define, clearly try to define what do you want today. Blend of technology and pedagogical vocabulary, have deeper knowledge of exactly what it is, basic understanding of the topic. Got it. I'm getting more answers to have an insight and taste what we can do to these points, what is needed to properly integrate, new perspective about pedagogy, curriculum, technology. Got it. So while everybody's typing in their answers and giving, an idea of what they want, let me tell you what is the best that we can do in 2 hours. What we're going to do today is we are going to define a direction of what curriculum, pedagogy, and technology means in today's time for an impactful teacher in the classroom. We'll identify the direction that we should be thinking in, and then how we should be preparing ourselves on an everyday basis using these techniques. I'm sure all of you have already received your detailed uh, workbook on how much time based on your scores you need to spend. You already have received some articles, different things, and you also know how much time you need to spend, you needed to spend, or you need to spend in the month of November to reach a particular level on curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. This masterclass today will give you a new direction on how do you approach this and how do you make the maximum out of this first domain that you're going to be talking about. So let me share a presentation, and then we start discussing. Somebody from my backend team, can you please remove the comments from the screen so that everybody can see the presentation, and the comments would be available on the side on whatever platform everybody is at. Can somebody also please change the background? Yeah, background is changed now. So it's the first ITO exclusive masterclass for all of us here. I have one simple request to everybody. You know, there will be tens of thousands of people specifically who attempted ITO here on this masterclass. And while we would have so many questions about different parts of life, I know whenever I'm meeting people, I'm traveling a lot now to meet teachers in different parts of the world personally as well. The teams are traveling a lot. And many times people have different questions, which are fine to ask when we are meeting directly. But then when we are on a focused study group, let's just focus on curriculum, pedagogy, and technology today. And then everything else we can handle separately. Is the presentation going to be shared with you later? No, but you will have a link to this masterclass, and you can visit it and revisit it later, and you can take care of it. So going ahead, curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. But before we dive in, let's know a couple of basic details. You already know me. Many of you know me. All those who don't know me, my name is Rishabh Khanna. I'm a cognitive scientist, and I focus majorly only on making teachers super successful. We've spent over 1.5 decades as a team on identifying patterns and ways how do we uh, make teachers better in their success achievement on an everyday basis. And I'll be your host and your master trainer today. Some basic rules that we all have to follow today. We will be respectful to everybody else during the presentation. Sometimes we would have thoughts and ideas which are not in sync with the topic or with the theme today. We'll try to keep those thoughts to ourselves. We'll keep our mics. Okay, that's true for when we were doing Zoom sessions. Again, camera is for Zoom sessions. You can ask as many questions as you want on the chat related to the topic. And we'll try to create a positive learning environment by always appreciating all the other teachers on the chat, on the discussions, and everything that we do today. So let's focus on that. Let's build our environment. Let's build a superb learning environment today. Let's go ahead. So what are we expecting today to learn? So we will be focused on majorly 5 outcomes. I'll be telling you the curriculum story, what is the background and the foreground of the curriculum. What is the curriculum really? How does a curriculum work? We'll discuss about pedagogy versus a learner. What is the difference between just implementing a pedagogy and then implementing a pedagogy having the learner in view, and how sometimes focusing on the two of the things together is a competition between each other. And I'm sure many people would have experienced this, that pedagogy versus learner becomes a major challenge for many people, that okay, what do I focus more on? Do I focus on learner? Do I focus on pedagogy? How do I create a balance? So that's going to be second takeaway. Third will be struggles of differentiated instruction. Now, I've been told by thousands of teachers globally that while they've heard about differentiation and differentiated instruction multiple times, they still are not clear about what is differentiation and what is differentiated instruction. And I understand that, completely understand that. So we will be talking about, how do we really look at differentiated instruction? How do we understand differentiated instruction? And what are struggles that somebody faces with differentiated instruction? Next, we'll go to technology-enabled teaching strategies. And finally, we'll be talking about marrying curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Okay, I see a lot of comments where people are saying that the slides are not clear and it's a bit blurred. Let me try to do something. I've tried to change the definition of my video input as well. Uh, let's see if it becomes better. And please do tell me that if it's working now. Let's go to the first slide, which is these are the 6 domains that we will be talking about. Uh, you know that we'll be talking about over the next 6 months. But today we are going to be focusing on the first domain, which is curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. And as discussed multiple times before, the moment a teacher is strong, efficient in all of these 6 areas, there is no stopping. There's no looking back. Nobody can stop you from becoming super successful. Okay, I've got also in the chat, I have a very mixed review. Some people are saying slides are very clear. Some people are saying slides are clear. What I request everybody to do is, can you guys try to go to your own personal settings of YouTube and try to change the video settings there? Sometimes YouTube changes your input of video based on your streaming quality, your internet speed. So for anybody for whom it's not clear, try to change the video settings in your YouTube or your streaming browser, and it will be clear, because I have hundreds of messages here where people are saying it's completely clear for us. So let's go to the curriculum story. Now, anybody, and I love to say this, anybody who had come to the masterclass specifically only for receiving a certificate, now is the time for you to go, because I've already told you what all we are going to do. It's right here. Uh, this is what we're going to be doing today. Curriculum story, pedagogy learner, struggles of differentiated instruction. And if you think you already know a lot and you just came for the certificate, now is the time to leave. If you really want to learn and you want to stay, please remember, you'll have to answer a lot of things. You'll have to be with me, and we develop this together. It's a huge masterclass, tens of thousands of people, and people are working on from different parts of the world. So we have to respect. And that's why if you're staying, let's build it together. Yeah. So anybody is watching from anyone, if you joined the live stream, if you joined the webinar masterclass through Suraasa platform, through your dashboard, and you pressed click here to join on the Suraasa dashboard, the system has already recorded that you are here, and system is continuously checking that how long have you been here. So don't worry about it. Everything is sorted. There's technology which is there. So first part, the curriculum story. So what is a curriculum? Can somebody type on the chat, what do you understand by the word curriculum? What is curriculum? And I know everybody would have different definitions of curriculum, but let's spend some time on it together. Start typing, 30 seconds. What is a curriculum? What do you feel is the meaning of the word curriculum? Do you understand anything about that? Do you have a clarity on what really is a curriculum? So let's start typing and try to explain it to a not a 6-year-old, but a student in 6th standard. You want to tell them what is a curriculum. Whenever you're answering, always try to answer it from a perspective that you are trying to explain it to somebody who's studying in 5th standard or 6th standard, and you will always know that you've been able to explain correctly. So I see a lot of answers. Guideline to what needs to be learned. It's a framework. It's a framework of syllabus, interdisciplinary learning, annual plan of covering topics to be taught. And if that is that, then what is syllabus? Somebody said it is the syllabus. It's the syllabus set. So, so many questions coming up. Write down these questions on the side on a paper and pen. What is the difference between syllabus and curriculum? Go back to that later after the masterclass, because I'm not going to cover syllabus versus curriculum today, but that's a superb distinction to be understood. What is the difference between a syllabus and a curriculum? So what is really a curriculum? Okay, let's do something fun, right? Imagine, everybody be with me. Imagine if curriculum was a person. It's not a thing. Imagine if curriculum was a person, what would the curriculum be doing? Imagine curriculum is a live human who comes to you every day, travels with you every day to your school, what is his role? What does he tell you? What does he talk to you about? What does the curriculum do? Answer that in the chat. If curriculum was a person, he would be or she would be doing this. Everybody on the chat box. If curriculum was a person, his role or her role would be this. Everybody, I want everyone to start typing with this sentence. If curriculum was a person, write this first sentence. If curriculum was a person, and then write your answer. Let's see what do you say. Okay, people say he will talk about content to be taught. He will tell us the lesson plan. He would be guiding. He would give us a long-term plan. Okay. Tell us what needs to be done. He, I love it. Somebody's saying if curriculum was a person, he would be dancing on my head every single day. He will keep telling me day-to-day guideline, plan for the whole year. He would tell me what to teach and how to teach. Superb. So guys, while we have typed all of those things and I'm getting your answers and I'm reading them all, think about it. Here's the next question, right? And we here at Suraasa really follow a lot of question-based teaching, right? We want to focus on asking the right questions so that the learning happens automatically. So think about it like this. When a student is in 12th standard, his focus is 12 standard, year 13, different curricula, different names, the final year in the school. The focus is to get a score, to get credentials that they can get admission in a university. When a student is in a higher education institution, when the student is in a university, his focus is to study in a way that he can continuously grow and he can be hired by a really good organization so that he can work and he can make a livelihood, or maybe learn the skills so that they can go ahead and start a business, but learn the skills for an outcome. If you are a student in grade 4, let's say year 4, what's your motivation to come to the class every day and study? What's the outcome that a year 4 or a grade 4 student would have to come to the class every single day? What is the outcome that they would be working on? And that's exactly how human life works. You know, when you tell a child of grade 4, year 4, that if you complete your homework, I'll let you play. You give them an outcome. You've given them a motivation. What is the motivation that they have that they study every single day and towards an outcome? What's the outcome? No fourth standard student has ever come to me and said, I'm studying because I want to go to grade 5. They go to grade 5 when they feel that I'm done with grade 4. Have you ever thought like that? Imagine. That's such an important question. What really motivates a grade 4, year 4 learner to come to the class and learn every day? And what would drive a year 4, a grade 4 teacher to do what they are doing so that there is an outcome, there's a motivation? Interesting question, right? So a curriculum is basically a motivation and outcome development framework which tells someone where are they right now in a journey. The role of a curriculum is to create a pathway of what that person will have to learn today so that they can learn something tomorrow and the next year and the next year till year 13, till grade 12. And then we reverse engineer it, bring it to today, and we create a guiding plan. So a curriculum that somebody has in year 5 is not a standalone document, is not a standalone syllabus. It is basically a milestone which really defines that I need to know this today so that I can learn that tomorrow. A simple example, would you be able to do probability or differentiation, or not differentiation in teaching, differentiation of mathematics,
or even quadratic equations if you did not understand addition and subtraction. So to be able to do quadratic equations someday, a learner really needs to learn addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, the basic arithmetic operations today, and then they will be able to move ahead. But would they ever know that there is a quadratic equations waiting for them a couple of years later? They would never know that. As a teacher, I need to know that the curriculum that I'm teaching in my class in the grade 2 in year 2 today is basically such an important thing, is such a strong milestone that if the learner skipped that, all the milestones in the future would just become hazy. You understand? So as a teacher, now my role is to understand the long view, the long perspective, the 30,000 feet view, the ground level view, the bird eye view, the field view of the curriculum, so that I can really build learner journeys. How do we really create that? That's what we'll be discussing today. And just to make sure that I'm giving you something specific, something new today, can you tell me what are different types of curriculum? What are different types of curriculum? How many different types of curriculum do you know about? Have you ever thought? Now I'm waiting to read in your chat what are the different kind of curriculum that you know about. I'm sure some people are going to write down different type of curriculum include IB, British curriculum, American curriculum, CBSE curriculum. I knew that. I knew I was waiting for that answer. There are so many people who are going to write that. Oh, nice. Some people have written curriculum, assessed curriculum. Very good. National curriculum, international curriculum, differentiated curriculum, learner-centric curriculum, written oral curriculum. Superb. Okay, here's a question. Has anybody ever heard about, and I dare you, don't even think of going to Google and searching for my next question, answer to my next question. Have you ever heard about what is a hidden curriculum? What's a hidden curriculum? Come on, give it to me in the chat. What is a hidden curriculum? Come on, come on, come on. If you've not heard about hidden curriculum, just write down no. What's a hidden curriculum? It's not extra curriculum along with studies. It depends on cultural and historical background. So here's something new for you. Here's something new for you. Hidden curriculum, hidden curriculum. Come on, guys. Yeah. Hidden curriculum, no idea, no idea. Value-based. Students learn a lot of skills in day-to-day classroom transactions. Very good. New ideas in respect to given one. And now everybody who's not typed, they're now searching on Google. I'm telling you, you're cheaters. Many of you are not just teachers, you're also cheaters somewhere. Okay, coming back, jokes apart. Jokes apart. So a hidden curriculum are those things that are taught without planning. We never knew that we were teaching all of those things, but they were taught. As a teacher, even I did not know that I was teaching you a couple of things, but they were taught. So something that gets taught without even realizing that we're teaching that is a hidden curriculum. Now let's take this definition and move back. And we define the regular curriculum, the curriculum that we are talking about, the written curriculum, the explicit curriculum. So it's basically a long-term, full 13, 14, 16-year plan that where does somebody start from and where do they reach for to have the final skills that they can go ahead and start studying, specifics of a particular line of thought, a particular field, and they do higher education in that. So your school education is basically an exhaustive integrated education where we let the learners explore different sides of education: history, civics, geography, maths, biology, physics, chemistry, English, languages. We give them exposure to everything in the first 12 years, first 14 years of the life, and we let them explore what do they feel connected to with the most. And then that is where they then are able to decide. Because of learning everything, they develop a holistic mindset, they develop a holistic perspective, and they're able to decide what do they want to learn in their higher education, in their university. So coming back, it's a sequence of things that they learn over the years, which are progressive in nature, so that they can reach a higher order thinking skill level in different areas and then decide for themselves. That's curriculum. A hidden curriculum works exactly the same way. Something that you taught them in year 3, grade 3, which built their belief system, which built their value system, goes ahead. And the next thing that they're learning is a progressive structure on the top of that, and the next one on the top of that. So as important is explicit curriculum, hidden curriculum is also very important. So that's where we start defining what all do we want learners to be able to experience in the classroom, because that is defining their life, that is defining their life structures every single day. So that's where the curricula, that's the bigger picture of the curriculum. So the curriculum is not just the list of the topics that we get from our IB board, ICSE board, IGCSE board, CBSE board. No, that is not the definition of a curriculum. What you're teaching in that year, that's not just the curriculum. That is a part of a major document, which is maybe 14 years long. And we identify out of that, okay, what is my responsibility for this particular year, so that I can do my part and the learner progresses in these particular milestones, so that he successfully achieves the learning outcomes of the part of the curriculum that I am responsible for, so that he can go to the next milestone in the curriculum that he has to study over the 14-16 years. In that process, we run different kind of curriculum. And just to give you an idea about what all different kind of curriculums are, there is recommended curriculum, there is written curriculum, there is taught curriculum, there is supported curriculum, there is assessed curriculum, there is learned curriculum, and there is a hidden curriculum. And we are doing all of it. It's very different from the syllabus that we decide to teach. Your taught curriculum basically becomes the syllabus. Are you there, guys? Then we don't really evaluate every single thing that we teach in the classroom, right? We pick up core concepts and we only evaluate on them. And the moment we do that, whatever we have tested the learners on, whatever we have assessed the learners on, that all of that becomes our assessed curriculum. And that's how the entire curriculum story really gets developed for a teacher as well as for a student. So next time when somebody says, did you finish your curriculum? Ask them, which one? Which curriculum are you talking about? Are you talking about recommended curriculum, or are you talking about written curriculum? And then take a look at their face, and they would know, a bit more than them about curriculum. Next time somebody says that, oh, I've been doing a lot in the classroom, and so you ask them, were you able to is your assessed curriculum and your taught curriculum the same, or did you reduce the size of your assessed curriculum than your written curriculum? Now, why are these concepts important, guys? Why are we even talking about this? Because this is developing the vision of our teaching skills. Till the time we really don't know where are we going, we can never reach anywhere. And curriculum is the most important concept for a teacher. They really need to understand that, every teacher really needs to understand that we are in a journey together, and there's a particular part of the journey where I am sitting in the driving seat, and there is this a vehicle, a bus, a train full of learners who are dependent on where do I steer this vehicle. And that's what it is. That vehicle in itself, is the syllabus that you cover. And that is what defines how do you really go about it. Now, how do we get maximum out of a curriculum? How do we really do that? Well, first of all, we have to understand what is a curriculum. Then we define what are the minimum viable skills that I want my learners to have, that I really, really want my learners to have by end of the year. Define that. And then reverse engineer. Reverse engineer that what do I need to do in my class today so that I'm able to achieve all of these outcomes, which is done by planning the lessons ahead. There'll be a separate masterclass on that. How do we do that? How do we manage classroom environment and everything? But today is majorly about building the long-term view. What is a curriculum and how do we get maximum out of a curriculum? So you need to be clear about at least the level before the milestone, the milestone that the learners had to achieve before they came to your class, and the milestones that they will be achieving after they leave your class. So if you're a grade 4 teacher, you really need to know grade 3 curriculum as well as grade 5 curriculum. And that's how you make the maximum out of it. If you can study grade 5, 6, 7, 8, that's the best. If you know what all is coming ahead, that's the best, because you'll be able to create a comparison. And if you know grade 3 as well, that's how you'll be able to make the connections, and you'll be able to identify which of the learners don't have the baseline skills to even understand what you're going to be teaching. And that's how you make the maximum out of a curriculum, by understanding and learning about at least 4-year journey before and after somebody crosses your curriculum milestone. Everybody with me? Show me a quick thumbs up that you understood what is the curriculum story. And if you learned something new about the curriculum, please tell me, yes, I learned something new on the chat, so that I know that we've been able to add something. If you learned something new about the curriculum in the slide on curriculum story, please do write in the chat box, yes, I have learned a new perception. Yes, I've learned something new about curriculum today. And of course, it's a 1.5, 2-hour workshop where I have to answer questions as well. So I'll not be diving deep, but as I said, I'll be creating the direction for your thought, so that when you go back and you study more, you can revisit these concepts, and then you can define the direction. So that's the curriculum story. Now, imagine you've developed your curriculum story. You have identified, this is what I have to teach. These are the milestones that I have to teach this year. These are the milestones that the next year teacher will be teaching. These are the milestones that the earlier year teacher had taught. And then you have to define, what do I do today? So now I know the curriculum now, but what do I do with this curriculum now? So that's where you start defining, okay, I need to define my pedagogy. What do I really do? Do I go and start teaching a particular teaching strategy? Do I use something like think, pair, share? How many of you have heard about think, pair, share? How many of you know what is think, pair, share? Quickly, guys. Have you heard about think, pair, share? What is think, pair, share? Just say, yes, I know what is think, pair, share. How many of you know about think, pair, share? Yeah? So think, pair, share, right? Now imagine you defined your curriculum and you decided that I'm going to be using think, pair, share in my classroom. Okay, some people said that I've heard it for the first time. So a think, pair, share is a learning strategy, is a teaching and learning strategy wherein a teacher goes to the classroom and divides the students into pairs and says, let's say if there are 30 students in the classroom, there are 15 pairs now, and the teacher gives the topic and everybody has to discuss with their peer about the topic. They have to think, they share whatever they feel about the topic, and they both learn something from each other. So that's think, pair, share, right? Now imagine, and it's a very short explanation, crisp explanation for you to understand now so that we can move ahead, but let's go ahead. So imagine as a teacher, you decided that think, pair, share is the strategy that I'm going to be using in the classroom today. You go to the classroom and you divide the students. And you forgot or you did not know that 60% of the class students in your class, they don't like talking to each other, or they don't like sharing, or they're just mum, they're just quiet. Whenever even you ask the question in the classroom, they don't share anything, and they don't share with their partners as well. So now you're divided the class into 15 pairs, and everybody is supposed to be thinking and discussing with each other, but there's pin drop silence. People are just not sharing. What happened there? You picked up a collaborative learning methodology, which is the buzzword, right? Collaborative teaching and learning and everything. You built up a collaborative learning environment in the classroom, and the students are not talking to each other. What happened? Your entire plan fell on face. You created a superb pedagogy structure, but then the learners stood against it. And that's what I like to call pedagogy versus learners. So how do I handle that? So that's where the first question comes in. What really is a pedagogy then? What is pedagogy? Come on, guys, type in the chat. What do you know about pedagogy? How do you define the term pedagogy? What do you feel? What do you think is pedagogy? Quickly. How do you understand the term pedagogy? Let me see how many of you are able to tell me what really does pedagogy mean. Come on, come on, come on. Teaching skill sets, teaching method, teaching methodology, the methods of teaching, teaching skills, teaching to cause learning. Okay, the way of teaching, the teaching method on the spot. Okay, on the spot? No, come on. Shoes. Okay, the way of teaching instructions, the method of teaching. Got it. Now you defined a method of teaching, you went to the classroom, and what you realized is it's not working. Has it ever happened? You defined a complete new teaching methodology, you built a beautiful lesson plan, you went into the classroom, and it fell on its face. It just didn't work. Has it ever happened with you that you reached the classroom and your lesson plan failed or your pedagogy did not work? How many of you have ever experienced that? Just show me a hand, give me a thumbs up. Yes, it has happened. Yes, many times. I can see that happened. Super many times. Yes, it has happened. So what really happened there? You built a beautiful lesson plan. You studied, you Googled, you structured everything, and you reached the classroom and it fell on its face. What really happened there? What was missing was the plan did not include the learner at the center of the teaching methodology. While you learned a new teaching system, while you learned a new teaching process, uh, the human factor, the humanism was not considered. The cognitivism was not considered. The constructivism was not considered. And I'm naming some learning theories here for a reason. Your pedagogy will only and only work in the best way if your learning theories have been taken care of. If you don't take care of your learning theories, I'm sorry to say, but your learning theories will make sure that your pedagogy fails. It's a necessary thing to take with you. Your learning theories basically build a system wherein the learner is able to understand and is able to become a part of the teaching system. So every single time from today, if you have planned something well and it fails, remember the learning theories did not like your plan. And that's where understanding learning theories becomes very important. What is a learning theory? What is a learning theory? Have you heard about constructivism? Anyone? Constructivism? Can somebody give me a definition of constructivism? And don't go to Google, okay? You can say, I don't know constructivism. It's okay to say that, because that is when you're acknowledging to yourself that I don't know constructivism. And then you write down in your side diary that I'm going to go back and I'm going to be researching on constructivism. So what is constructivism? Come on, guys. It's becoming fun now. I'd learned it, but now I've forgotten. Yeah, I'm sure, or many of us would have learned it in our bachelor's in education or our PGCEs or different times when we were doing these teacher training courses. But, but, well, constructivism is no. We also fail to recognize one or two students who can do it. We tend to generalize. Yeah, I understand. We have many times you're able to build. And I'm not talking about constructivism now, guys. I'm reading the comments which are coming, which are being populated on the site. So there are many people who are saying that many times the pedagogy failed because we only consider a few students of the class and we don't consider everybody else, and that's why we're not able to take. Absolutely. But let's come to what is constructivism. Somebody's written where child learns based on their previous knowledge, and then it's a constructive. Absolutely, very good. Yeah, some people are saying we forgot. So I'm not going to explain that, by the way. Okay, let me just tell you something and then we move ahead. So constructivism is a basic theory where it says that whatever you are learning today is basically constructed on something that you already know. And as a teacher, how do we identify the pathway from where somebody is right now to where he has to reach, and what's the direct path to that, and how do we build the ladder from their current position to where we want them to reach? It's as simple as this. Now, we build everything around this concept. So imagine if I was defining my pedagogy, my teaching methodology, and I used constructivism as a theory, and I was able to define what is the average learning level of my classroom, and only based on that I define the next learning milestone, and I make sure that everybody in my class is at least on that average level. If not, how do I create a zone of proximal development for the other student? Okay, and let me not go into too many theories today. So how do I create a structure where everybody really is either close to that average score, either with my effort or already from before, and then from that average skill level, how do I take everybody to the next skill level? And I create my pedagogy based on that. Now what I've done is I've made uh, the learning theory as my main vehicle, and I've created a layer of pedagogy around it. And now when I drive my vehicle, it works. Everybody is with me. Does that make sense? So that's where we need to define what are the learning theories that we know about, how do we implement them in the classroom, and how do we make pedagogy and learning theories run with each other, which means that I need to know about my learning theories and I need to know about my teaching methodologies as well. And that is when pedagogy does not become a competitor with the learner, but pedagogy becomes a toolkit for a teacher, and the entire focus shifts from instructor centered teaching to learner centered teaching. It's as simple as that. Your base should be a learning theory that you identify, and then based on that you build your own pedagogy on the top of that to achieve the curriculum. Simple. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you. This is how I would explain it to a student in 6th grade, right? So that's pedagogy versus the learner. Moving ahead. Now, let's say you say, Rishabh, I want to define a particular learning theory. I want to use a particular pedagogy, but there are so many different kind of learners in my class. They have different physical abilities, many times different age groups. They have different skills, strengths, preferences, experiences, culture, learning style, language, religion, senses, perspective. What do I do? How do I define a learning strategy? How do I define a teaching strategy, a teaching methodology that everybody is involved with me? And that's where the concept of differentiation really came in. So my question to everybody on the masterclass today, on the platform today, is what do you understand by differentiation then? How do you differentiate? What is differentiation? What is differentiated instruction? Quickly, quick 30 seconds. What is your understanding of the concept of differentiation? Quick 30 seconds. Very good. Somebody said tailor-made pedagogy for each student to make the student feel a one-to-one connect. Very nice. What else? What else? Yeah. Finding commons, ability to accommodate the need of each student. Very good. Inclusive for all. Okay. Is there a difference between making a differentiated instruction-based classroom and making an inclusive classroom? Guys, is there a difference between making a differentiated instruction-based classroom and making an inclusive classroom? Very important question. Is there a difference between making an inclusive classroom and making a differentiated instruction-based classroom? People are saying yes, I can read. Building new ideas, step-by-step teaching, analyzing different. Okay. Okay, some people are saying it's almost the same. That's a very gray area, almost the same. Come on. You can't say almost the same. Either you have to say yes or you have to say no. Is there a difference? People are saying yes. There's a lot of difference. And there is a lot of difference. We are not going to touch that part today, but that's a question that you might want to write in your notepad. What is the difference between a differentiated instruction-based classroom and an inclusive classroom? Go Google it. It will add to your learning minutes for this month. So superb. So what is differentiation then? So differentiation is, in very, very simple terms, saying that the differences, any kind of differences that the learners in my classroom have, I will not let those differences become a problem, become a roadblock in them achieving their curriculum goals. So differentiation or differentiated instruction is a process in which we declare that we acknowledge that there are so many differences in the students in my classroom, and I'm going to be using a way of instruction that their differences will not become a roadblock in them achieving the learning outcomes. Guys, do you think it's a strong enough definition of differentiation for you? Do you agree with me? Yes, no? Yeah. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Yeah, so differentiation is basically a way. And what we are doing is we are saying we will keep things as simple as, okay, somebody changed my presentation slide. It was not me for sure. So what we are saying is, while there are so many technical terminologies, while there are so many technical things that happen behind differentiation, we are going to define the very basic of what is differentiation, that I will create differentiated classroom when my objective is to make sure that whatever be the differences in the learners' abilities, any kind of differences in the learners in my classroom, I will make sure that every learner is able to achieve the learning objectives that were defined in my curriculum. Simple. That is differentiation, and that is differentiated instruction. Yeah. Yeah. So for many maths teachers, differentiation is a maths topic. Yes, that's exactly what I said when I learned about differentiation the first time so many years ago. Somebody asked me, what is differentiation in teaching? I said, that's a topic that maths teachers teach in the classroom and students are bored to death. And I was asked to leave the class. No, jokes apart. My teacher trainer was very good and he did not say that, but you understand what I mean, right? So yeah. So for maths teachers, differentiation is a maths concept that is taught in senior classes, but this is differentiation that teachers have to implement on an everyday basis every single day. So we can say that differentiation is a way of making sure that everybody is learning, and for that we differentiate a couple of things in the classroom. Now somebody might say, how do I really bring differentiation to the classroom? How do we personalize for every single learner? So you actually don't have to differentiate for every single learner. You could always identify a framework based on which you divide the learners into groups, and then you differentiate for the groups. So you might want to use something like, let's say, and I'm not proponent of any particular theory, but just to give you an example, let's say somebody says, I want to use multiple intelligences, and now there are so many intelligences, basically 7, but then many people say 8, when you also include the naturalistic intelligence. So let's say there are 7 basic intelligences, and you divide your entire class based on who has what strength in intelligences, and then you identify that, okay, when I go to my classroom, I will take care of the learners who have logical intelligence, and who have linguistic intelligence, and who have musical intelligence, and who have all of those interpersonal intelligences, and you divide them, and you say, for each of these different categories of students, I will be planning this simple activity, or this simple note, or this simple structure. Or you could be using as simple a thing as visual, auditory, kinesthetic. And you say, okay, these are the 3 different kind of learners, and everybody experiences all the 3 kind of activities, but everybody is able to pick up what they like the best, and you have created a differentiated classroom. Now, what all do you differentiate on? You can differentiate on the content that you deliver. So whatever you're teaching, you could differentiate on that. You could differentiate on the assessment methodology. In fact, you could also differentiate on curriculum. You could flip that, what do I teach first, what do I teach later? And that's how differentiation really can be done. Now, the problem comes when we do not use any particular framework to differentiate. And people start thinking that I need to differentiate left, right, and center for every single learner. And that's where the problem starts. Imagine somebody going to a classroom with 40 students, 30 students, 25 students, and saying, I need to differentiate. The world is looking at me. My principal is looking at me. Inspectors are looking at me. School improvement consultants are looking at me, and they're saying I'm not doing any differentiation. So how do I differentiate for all 30 students? And that's where we're not even able to start. So I define how I will differentiate. But the moment I start doing that, the next challenge is how often and what are the tools that I can use to differentiate. These are some of the challenges that I've identified. What do you think are the challenges that you face when you have to do differentiation? If I told you that tomorrow morning you will be delivering customized instruction, you will be differentiating in the classroom, what do you think will be the 3 major challenges, 1, 2, or 3, whatever you want to share? What would be the major challenges that you would face to differentiate in the classroom? What would you do? What would be your major challenge? Let's try to define some challenges of differentiated pedagogy. What would be the challenges that you would face? Somebody saying strength of the class might be a challenge. Okay, what else? Resources might be a challenge. Time might be a challenge. Large number of students in a particular class. Oof, 250 students in the class. Wow. Identifying learning methods, learning speed and style, resources needed, learning disabilities, tools to be used, class management, strength of class. How do we learn new strategies? How do we take care of time constraints? Absolutely. Now, these are some of the challenges that we all feel, but all of these challenges, whatever I have read till now, can be very easily taken care of if you focus on a framework to differentiate, which I just mentioned. The major challenge on resources, on time, can be taken care of if you start using some technology tools, which brings me to the next part of the class today, which is technology-enabled teaching strategies. Now, we want to do differentiation, and if we want to do everything manually on an everyday basis, I am sorry, but we won't be able to do that. Differentiation is not just about, and let me just take you for a second back there. Differentiation is not just about what you just did in the classroom and you left it there. It's actually about you're defining where everybody is, then you're defining what everybody will be doing, and then you're measuring whether everybody was able to reach where you wanted them to reach or not. And to do all of that on an everyday basis for 5 or 6 classes a day, completely with you. It will take so much time, it will take so much effort. It's not easy to do that, right? That's where technology comes to our rescue. And that's where we go ahead and we say, okay, I want to use technology, but how do I use technology? And before we start exploring that, I want to know from all of you, how many of you use technology in your classroom? Show me a thumbs up or a raised hand. How many of you use technology in your classroom? Say, yes, I use. Yes, I use, or no, I don't use technology. Yes, I use technology. No, I don't use technology. I do, I use, yes, no, I do. I use a lot of technology. Smart class. Well, okay. How many of you think that technology sometimes is a bigger problem than a solution? How many of you feel that technology sometimes becomes a bigger problem than becoming a solution? Come on, tell me. How many of you feel that technology sometimes becomes a bigger problem than becoming a solution? I have to write it in clear words. Sometimes, not always, however, of course. It depends when you're using it. Yes, yes, a lot of times. It's a blessing, sometimes time consuming problem. Solely depend on it and then everything at halt. I feel technology can be a problem. If you use it is a boon. Technology is a boon. Got it. Now, since a lot of people have said that sometimes it becomes a problem, but it is also a boon, I want to know one example from your life. And guys, it's not, everybody's not just learning from me. We are learning from each other. It's a collaborative place where tens of thousands of people are learning together. Okay. I want you to share one example on the chat where you feel technology helps you a lot and you really love it. You can give me an example. You have 30 seconds to write your answer. Where does technology support you the maximum? And what is one use that you love the maximum? Okay. Flip classroom, practicing quizzes, maths games. Very nice, very nice. Where all do you use technology? Psychometric testing. It has become a bane. I use it to attend your master classes. No, guys, I'm talking about how do you use it in your classroom, which, yeah, I read that. How do you use it in your own classroom with your own students? Give me one example that I use technology while doing this and it really helps me a lot. How do you use that? For quiz, for research work, for flipped classroom, virtual tour, visualization of concept, pictures, oh, subscription of things, Google Forms, teaching gate, presentations, polls, animation, interactive PPT. It becomes destructive many times. I know that. Now, that's all where you've been able to use it. Now, I want you to write down one place where technology has really disrupted your classroom. I really want you to focus on that. When did technology disrupt your classroom? You wanted to do something, it did not work. What was that thing? When did technology not go the way you planned for it to go? Where do you think technology failed you? Quickly, guys. Okay, whenever there's an internet issue, technology fails us. Technical issues, connectivity issue, Online classes. Okay, guys, before we go ahead, let me give you a very quick input. When COVID happened, a lot of us moved to Zoom, to Teams, to Google Classroom, to Google Meet to deliver our classes. And we felt that this is online learning. Please be ready for a surprise or a shock of your life. It was not online learning, it was remote learning. Zoom and online live classroom platforms are not online learning platforms, they are remote learning platforms. An online learning system is a completely different system. It would become an online learning system when you have multiple things integrated with each other and it is all flowing smoothly so that you can create an online learning experience for your learners. But just learners coming and sitting in a Zoom class where instead of them sitting in a physical classroom, they're sitting and somebody's speaking continuously and learners are not even participating. They're sitting quietly, just listening and sometimes even freezing their screen and doing something else. It's remote learning. It's not online learning. What we are doing right now, for example, is a part of online learning because all of you are participating. I am not driving the class. You are driving the class. I'm asking the questions. You are telling me which direction to go to. That is learning online with each other, with collaboration. So, what are the problems that you faced while using technology? So, children stop thinking, system errors. Yes, there used to be remote learning, technical troubleshoot. Moodle is online, absolutely. Yep. So, technology becomes a problem in many areas as well. Let me give you an insight which I think many of us should know, but we've not realized it because we've not thought about it like that. Any teacher, every single teacher, in fact, who was an effective educator in the classroom physically, and not just that they felt that we are effective. I'm talking about those teachers who understood pedagogy, who understood learning theories, who understood lesson planning, who understood curriculum, who understood assessments, who understood rubrics. And they were implementing all of those things on an everyday basis, even before COVID. For them, technology became a vehicle where they had to just do all of those things in a bigger, better, larger way. For everybody who was not clear about how rubrics works, how questions works, how assessments work, how learning theories work, how curriculum works, and then they had to do all of those things on technology, technology became a big problem. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to build a perception that technology is not a teaching resource. Technology, your platforms, are enablers enablers that enhance the impact of your teaching strategies. So, technology is not a replacement of your teaching strategies or your pedagogy or your learning theories. Technologies are enablers, are tools which help the teachers who are good at learning theories, curriculum, pedagogy, and teaching strategies. Anybody who's looking at technology as a replacement of teachers will always fall on their face, will always fail. Any teachers who feel that I don't need to do this in my lesson planning or that in my teaching strategy now because I have technology will fail. But anybody who's clear about this is my curriculum, this is what I have to do, this is how I base my technology on that, they will be able to enable technology and they will be able to build teaching strategies around that. So, anywhere where technology is being used as a teacher or a good teaching practices, technology fails there. Technology doesn't work there. Please write it down. Please list it down that whenever technology would be tried to use to replace the teaching strategy or replace the teacher's skill set, it will fail. Whenever technology will be used as an enabling tool for the teacher who knows what he or she is doing, technology will always scale, technology will always become successful. And that's where I want to share the story of some highly successful teachers. So when COVID happened, as a team, we went to many schools, to many teachers, and we were listening to stories of uh, teachers who were leaving their jobs, teachers who were being asked to leave, teachers who were heartbroken. More number of teachers left their jobs in COVID than people who joined. And everybody had one problem: we don't understand technology. And that's why technology, and that's why we want to leave. And it was a huge issue, right? We wanted to understand what is really happening. There are many of these teachers who are considered to be good teachers by their schools. Now, that created a lot of big concerns for us, because we have our learners, our graduates, right, who've done 12-month diplomas with us, and we wanted to know that how are they doing. Many of them would be facing problems themselves. So we reached out, and one of such teacher, I'm not naming anyone, very close to me. So I called this teacher and I asked her that how is it going? And she says, Rishabh, it's crazy, and I can't tell you what all is happening right now. And I thought maybe either she's been fired or she's been asked to leave. Something has happened, and that's not good at all. What happened? Tell me. And she goes, suddenly 3 teachers of our school have been fired, including my coordinator, and I have been made coordinator, and I'm hiring new teachers, and the school principal is looking at me that I'm able to teach everybody whatever I'm doing in the classroom. I said, superb. So are you really good at technology? I said, no, I started using it when COVID happened. Says, so how did you learn it so quickly? Said, I didn't do anything. I've just been implementing same pedagogy structures and same curriculum structures and everything that we learned. I just used technology as an enabler, and I just said, okay, this is what I was doing in my real classroom when learners were really learning it. I just need to now do it in a way that I'm able to use technology and I'm able to use online platforms to do it. So she switched her in-class plenaries and icebreaker activities and everything that she was doing as a pedagogy-enabled teacher to online systems. And suddenly, everything was working for her. And that's where we started realizing that all those teachers who were really good with implementation of pedagogy in the classroom, who were implementing pedagogical skills as back of their hand, technology was just a big boon for them. So anybody out of all the participants here who wants to become outstanding with technology as teachers, not as a software developer, you really want to become outstanding with technology as a teacher, become outstanding with pedagogy. And the moment you become outstanding with pedagogy, technology falls in place, because all these organizations that are developing technological tools for teachers, their assumption is that the teacher already knows pedagogy, and that's why teacher would know what to do in the classroom. They just need a tool, and they build those tools. And every time a teacher is struggling with that, they are struggling because they don't know pedagogy. The tool was built with an assumption that the teacher knows pedagogy. Imagine that's where it all got disrupted, and that's where teachers had to leave, because not because they were struggling with technology, because they did not know pedagogy. You want to be an outstanding teacher who knows pedagogy, who knows technology, who's moving out, focus on the first principles, the basics. The basics of teaching are the basics of teaching online. So there are people who are leaving the basics of teaching and going to teaching online, thinking that, okay, maybe technology-based teaching is different. No, it is not. Those technological tools were created with a thought that the teacher already knows how to teach. We're just creating enablers for them. And that's where technology does not work. So if you have to enable a tech classroom for yourself, focus on the 6 domains that we are asking you to learn, because that will make you a tech-enabled teacher. Tech-enabled teacher, The focus is the word teacher, not tech enabled. You become a good teacher, you become a tech enabled teacher. And that's where we go ahead in understanding how do we marry curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Okay, so this is where we are going to do. We're going to do an activity. I want all of you to write down which class do you teach right now. On the chat, write down. And whatever I ask, please keep writing it down and keep writing it down even if you have a notepad on your side. So write in the chat and write on the notepad. Which class do you teach in right now? Maybe, and if you're teaching in multiple standards, pick up any one. Pick up any one grade, pick up any one year, any one class that you teach in right now. Type it in the chat box. Year 13, 7th, 1st, grade 2, grade 2, grade 7 and 8. Pick one, pick one. Everybody, please just pick one. Even if you teach in 5 classes, pick one. Just pick one class and we work on that. Pick one, pick one. Guys, pick one. I still see people writing 3 classes, 5 classes. Some people writing 4 classes. Come on, stop showing off. I know you are intelligent teachers and you teach a lot of classes. Pick up any one class now. It's a part of the activity. You have to do the activity with me. Pick up any one class. Okay, let me make it more interesting. Write down the name of the class and the subject that you teach to that class. Everybody again. Write down the name of the class and the subject that you teach in that class. And if you're teaching more than one subject, please pick one subject. Don't write down I teach many subjects, or don't write down I teach all the subjects. Pick up one class and write down the name of the subject. So if you're teaching, let's say grade 1 and you're a homeroom teacher and you teach all of the subjects, just pick up any one teacher. Pick up any one subject, so do not pick up one teacher. I'm reading the chat side by side. So maths class 8, English grade 2, computer science grade 11, superb. That's what I'm talking about. Pick up one topic and one class. Social studies, grade 6. Wow, so we have teachers from KG till 12th grade here and some teachers even post 12th from colleges as well. Superb. Superb. Now, everyone, quickly. Pick up one topic that you love to teach in this class into this grade. Pick up any one topic. Any one topic. Quickly, write it down and write down the name of the topic and write it down on your notepad as well. Pick up any one topic out of the subject and the grade that you have picked up. I want you to write down the topic. People could write photosynthesis, people could write differentiation, people could write anything. Grammar. Grammar is not a topic, it's a full concept. Come on, guys, pick up one topic. Write down noun or verbs or comparatives or something, right? One topic. Nutrition in animals. Superb. Now you picked up that topic. Think about that class and think about any one pedagogy that you would like to teach, that you would like to use to teach that topic. Anyone. This one, this particular concept, this particular activity, you will need 2 to 3 minutes. So take that time. Think of any pedagogy that you that you know, and write down that. This time, write down a sentence. I would use, let's say, pick up any teaching methodology. I would use hot potato. Do you know what is hot potato though? I'll come to that later. So I would use hot potato. I would use think, pair, share. I would use project-based learning to teach digestive system for class 5 EVS. Write down a complete sentence. No, constructivism is a learning theory. That's not a teaching methodology. We'll come to that later. Everyone, quickly. One full sentence. I will teach. Name of the topic. Somebody from my team, can you please quickly type a message on the chat box? I will teach, bracket open, name of the topic, bracket close, in my class 6, or class name of the class, using dash name of the methodology, and basically giving them a structure. Quickly, guys. comparative method to teach numbers to blah, blah, blah. I would role play and demonstrate the preposition for grade 2. I would use questioning, action, play, this. I would use presentations and project-based learning while teaching the Merchant of Venice. Ah, nice. I would show a video from YouTube, Indian War of Indian Independence, grade 8. Okay, I will teach sentence structure in my class 4 using think, pair, share. I will teach, not reach. I will teach preposition in my class using project-based learning. Superb. And now, while you're doing that, make a new sentence where you would be using some technological tool. Now, if you say that I'm going to be using PPT, I will come from the call to your side. You know who I am, right? I don't like that. Using PPT is not using technology. I'm sorry. It might have been using technology 10 years ago, 2012, when people just put up smart boards on the class and they would say, I'm playing a video in my classroom, so I'm using technology. Come on, guys. Come on. Give yourself a break, not me. How would you engage the learners using technology while you teach this topic? I want you to think out of the box. What would you do to teach this topic out of your curriculum so that you are able to enable the impact on every single learner? And I would love if you are able to consider differentiation, if you're able to consider learning theory, if you're able to consider a pedagogy, if you're able to consider the topic, the age of the students, because that's everything that we discussed today. What are we doing right now? We're doing an activity to see whether we are moving in the right direction or not. And even if you're not able to do it, it's a good place to start because you will be able to think later that why was I not able to do it? So when you tell me that I'll be using PPT in the classroom and I'll show a PPT and teach all the learners, you and I both know what happens when you do that in the classroom, right? You go to the classroom, you put the PPT on, you start speaking, learners are sitting, some of them are interested, some of them are not interested. Many times teacher is just standing on the side, reading out of the presentation, and then 40 minutes are over and then you go home and nobody has learned anything. And none of us want those classes, right? How do you do, what do you do using technology that your learners are able to move ahead in their curriculum journey? And you're sure about that. And you can take a guarantee that whether there are 30 students in your classroom or 300 students in your classroom, you take a guarantee that everybody would have learned this one thing at least. What would be that? You learn by doing. I'll use learning by doing. I will teach through activity sheet. I would use project-based, think, pair, share, role play. Nice. There are people who have just started listing everything that they know, not focusing on that one topic, that one class, that one methodology, that one technology use that I'm talking about. So the children we research, as we don't have textbooks, very good. Make a sound of animals in the class, play a treasure hunt, hiding. Very nice. I'll project videos to teach my grade 3 pupils fractions in mathematics. But you will project the video, but then what will you expect from them? That's how you plan your pedagogy. You don't just say what is your input, you also define what is the output that you will get. How will you define output using technology? And that's what I want to know. Guys, keywords, write down in your notes. Technology is best used when there is an input and there's a measurable output. Technology is best used when there is an input and a measurable output. And if any of the two is missing, you haven't used technology using pedagogy correctly. So what would you do? Input and measurable output. Input, output. So everybody, quickly focus on how would you marry curriculum, pedagogy, and technology in your classroom? And how would you stitch a solution for me using whatever we have learned today. This is what we are doing right now. We are picking up step-by-step procedure. I request everybody to write down these 4 steps on your notepad and use this as a framework to implement curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. There are different uh, articles and reading materials that have been shared with you in your domain 1 report. You can use them. Completely different content, not same content at all. So this is all mutually exclusive content. We'll also start posting a lot of things on our YouTube channel related to curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Some short videos that we created earlier. Again, completely free for all ITO participants. So all of you who have joined through YouTube, you are on the YouTube channel of Suraasa. Just remember to click on the channel, subscribe, and ring button that whenever new content comes, you are there. We'll just come back to this, but try to make sure that you don't miss out this opportunity on receiving more content on curriculum, pedagogy, and technology as we start keep posting more videos about this. Coming back, 4 steps. The only way you can marry curriculum, pedagogy, and technology is first if you understand curriculum. You don't understand your curriculum, you do whatever, you will never be clear about the learning outcomes. If you're not clear about the learning outcomes, I'm sorry, but since your direction is not correct, you'll never be able to go to the right, you will never be able to reach the right destination. Understanding the curriculum basically is like defining where am I going. So you first of all understand your curriculum. Then you pick up that, okay, from where I'm standing towards the destination, the next target is X. Let's say you're standing at point A and you have to reach point E. The next milestone is point B. So from A to B is my next target in my next class. Now you define to move from A to B, I will be using this vehicle, which will be defining my pedagogy. And to be able to implement this pedagogy, I need to know what framework of learning theory am I using. And that is when you have defined everything. You've defined how many different kind of learners I have. You've defined differentiation. You've defined this is the pedagogical structure that I'm using. I'm using think, pair, share, hot potato. Okay, do you know hot potato? I'm sorry, I keep coming back to hot potato. How many of you have heard about hot potato before? How many of you have heard about hot potato? Tell me yes, no. Hot potato. Yes, I know hot potato. No, I don't know hot potato. Come on, hot potato. Some people call it hot ball. Some people call it hot potato. But what is it? It's a very simple activity which you can use in every single class, right from grade 1 to grade 12. And people love it. And I'll tell you, and you're like, oh, this is called hot potato. I could do it. And it's these simple experiences which really make classes very fun, a lot of fun. So what's a hot potato? Imagine you pick up a ball. Let me see. Do I have a ball around? No, I don't have a ball, but I have something like this diamond shaped thingy, some trophy. So let's say this is a hot potato. This is a ball in my hand. Now I pick up a topic and I ask somebody to share something about that topic. Now there are multiple ways of using hot potato. I'm sharing the simplest way. You take the ball and you share something, and you've already explained something in the classroom, and you can use it on right in the beginning, middle, or after the class. I'm saying I'm using it in the middle of the class. So let's say you pick up this ball and then you say, okay, we've discussed about differentiation in the classroom or digestive system in the classroom. Whatever we have understood, we're all going to start sharing it. And you take this ball and you throw it towards one learner and you say, whosoever I throw it towards, they have to share what do they think about it. Now, what all are you doing in this? You've already used, let's say, visuals on the smartboard. You've been using auditory by playing nice videos, by talking nicely, intonating your voice, and then you throw this ball towards somebody and you say, whosoever catches this ball has to share. So you've engaged them kinesthetically as well. And the person has to share, and the person decides whom does he want to throw the ball towards. Whomsoever he throws the ball towards, or the hot potato towards, the other person then shares, and then the third and the fourth and the fifth, and you can do a round of 10 students every time. That's hot potato. And I know many of you might be using different words for it, but that's hot potato. That could be a very simple methodology. So these are the kind of things, simple things that we can do in the classroom, and we can plan our entire pedagogy around that, because you've kind of taken care of the learners now. That's now here's another point. There might be learners who are not very comfortable with physical activity in the classroom. How do you identify that, and how do you make sure that they are also comfortable? That's where the learning structure and understanding the learner really comes into play. Does it make sense? So these are the 4 steps. Then we plan our pedagogy, and finally we say, can we do something using technology? And we can use things like quizzes, we can use things like Kahoot, we can use things like Polymeter, Mentimeter, Poll Viewer, a complete list of tools that can be used, which would be which would make the teaching and learning process simple. So the flow is understanding the curriculum, identifying the curriculum, identifying what is the part of the journey that you have to do today. You identify the starting point, you identify the end point, you plan the vehicle, you plan the pedagogy, you put technology structures around that, and then you go out and you start delivering it. And that is what makes a complete learning experience. I would request everybody to now stop typing just individual name of the tools, Nearpod, I understand, passing the ball, blah, blah, blah. And try to focus 5 minutes, 5 minute activity, quick activity on how can we implement this in the classroom. Look, guys, I'm repeating. I'm using a particular learning theory here. I'm using a particular way of teaching here. I'm repeating things a couple of times. Why are we doing that? Why am I doing that? How does cognitivism work? How does short-term memory to long-term memory work? What are the key principles that you have to do there? Research. I'm not explaining that today. But why am I repeating? So, final activity of the day, and then I'll start taking questions on your chat. Uh, Please pick up the same class, the same topic. Think about the pedagogy and think about the technology, and write one message, one comment where you have written everything together. I want to see that for as many teachers as possible. As many teachers as possible. The entire one paragraph, one sentence where you've written every single thing. You picked up the curriculum, you picked up your grade, you picked up your subject. The moment you do that, I have a clarity on your curriculum. You picked up the topic, you pick up your pedagogy, and then you write down how are you going to use the technology as an input or an output, or input and output tool. Quickly, guys, 5 minutes. I want as many people to answer as possible. Quick inputs, please. Nice. I like it. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I love reading these comments. I will teach verbs. I would use think, pair, share for verbs. I would ask learners to act out their action. Come on, don't give me 2 words, lesson planning, involve the students kind of answers. I want you to give me a complete sentence. Now, using Bloomsticks on me and flipped classroom, but what topic, where, how? Okay, repeating the question is, can you give me step 1 to step 4, which is on the slide right now, for any one topic? I'll pick up the latest news on natural disaster, show a video, use constructive pedagogy, and have a quick quiz as a service. Very good. Quiz as a plenary. Superb. I love that. While teaching biomolecules, I would use simulation or 3D modeling to teach and assess the understanding of different types. How would you assess is the question while you do that. I will teach biology reproduction plants in class 12 with the help of role plays and use quizzes on. Very good. Nice. I'll make students do worksheets, draw some pictures using smartboard. Okay. I will teach chemical effects of electric current in grade 8 using workstations where students carry out experiment and observe different. At the end of the class, I use Mentimeter check. Very good. Makes sense. Grade 7, IGCSE digestive system. Uh, Podcast to make them, to engage them and share them their ideas. Google Collab, very good. Nice. Very good, guys. So while everybody else is typing and I'm reading through, uh, let's also go towards any questions if you have. Let me just see what all I have on my slide and then we go towards the questions. Okay. Quickly, how many of you have already subscribed to the YouTube channel now? Have you subscribed to the YouTube channel? If you've not subscribed, please do it right now. You're already on YouTube. If you're all of you who are on YouTube, click on the name of the name Suraasa. It will say subscribe button. Subscribe straight away so that you don't miss anything. After you've done that, there's also a podcast that we run on different topics. We bring renowned principals, educators, and we talk to them and they share their journeys with us, that how did they become a teacher, how did they become a school leader, how did they become a principal. And there's a podcast that you can subscribe to. Can somebody from my team please share how can people subscribe to the podcast, or if you could just add the podcast links to the YouTube description where people can later go on and subscribe, that would be great. The idea is to have teachers get as many resources that they can use as possible. Let's divert some of that Facebook, Instagram time towards podcasts and learning time for teachers, because this directly gets translated into your success, directly gets translated into more skills, and directly gets translated into uh, growth. So lack of that, lack of words now. So yeah, so let's keep focusing on that. Okay, there is the light has gone down. I think it's evening now. Just give me a second, guys. I'll put my lights on in the room, and then I'll put the camera on again. Nice. Yep, nice and clear. So that's the podcast, and let's go to question and answers now. And I love what people are writing about what all will they do in the classroom. Somebody from my team, can you check the private chat, please? There's some things coming on that. Got it. Super, guys. Let's go to questions. Please feel free. Okay, students are influenced by different factors. Engaging them in the classroom is becoming difficult. Can we suggest something? Jyotsna, simple thought. It's everybody is missing a motivation to do what you want them to do. You really want somebody to be engaged and involved in something that you want them to do and they don't want to do. Always find a common motivation. If you're able to find that, and if you're able to write that on the steps that I've shared today, nobody can stop you. Whatever we are going to do over the next 6 months in different master classes, all of this, every single part of this is going to be hands-on information on what can you do in the classroom and how you can engage your students. So even if you just implement whatever I've talked about today and you make it as a starting point, uh, there's no stopping after that. So just use that and your students would be much more engaged in the classroom. Okay, there are some people who want some sessions in different languages. I'll take that up with the management and see if we can arrange that. Uh, Superb. Well, how to manage a kindergarten class student? Mathly, that's a 6 month long answer. It's a complete course in itself. So just focus on what I've shared today, and I think that would be a good point for you to start. Got it. I see a lot of people have started uh, asking about whether we'll be uploading this class on YouTube or not. No, guys, we'll not be uploading it on YouTube and we'll not be sharing it with anyone, but we'll figure out a way that only all of you who have done the Olympiad have access to that. See, believe me, this is very exclusive, very, very exclusive for ITO participants. So we will not be opening it up for masses on YouTube. We'll figure out a way of hosting it on Suraasa platform, wherein all the people who have attempted ITO can still keep seeing it. Still looking for a solution around that, and then we build it. Then we'll build it. Mariam, you're asking how do we pick up the right pedagogies? Very good question. It will always be dependent on the learners of your class. Any pedagogy, even the best of the pedagogies or the worst of the pedagogies, have to be dependent on only two things. What are the learning outcomes that you have to achieve in the classroom? What is the milestone of the curriculum that you are really trying to achieve? And who are the learners in your classroom? To give you an example, uh, okay, let me just put my presentation off. And I have no idea how I do that. Okay. Okay, it's gone. Good. So any teaching strategy, any teaching methodology, any pedagogy only works when the curriculum learning outcomes are defined clearly and the students are identified clearly. To give you an example, nouns, for example, as a topic, are taught right from grade 1 to grade 10, 12. It's the same topic. What changes? The students change and the curriculum learning outcomes change. You focus on those two and you'll be able to identify the right pedagogy. If you try to focus on pedagogy and forget about the learning outcomes and the learners, your pedagogy would always fail. But if you don't focus on the pedagogy first and you focus on the learners and the learning outcomes first, and then you look at the pedagogy, it will always succeed. And that's how you pick up the right pedagogy. Okay, written curriculum is basically defined as the whole document, is the whole journey that has been defined by a board. So, for example, a CBSE board might say that in grade 4, you have to teach these 100 topics. Now, the moment those 100 topics reach a particular region, let's say IB board, IGCSE board, British curriculum, they give a complete list of topics, which is the written curriculum. And then they write down that based on the geography, based on the ethnicity, based on location, based on wherever we are, how do we identify what have to be what has to be taught in that particular area. That's how we create recommended curriculum based on, and its recommended curriculum basically goes at a very school level or a state level, completely defined, from different perspectives. So that's how you differentiate between written curriculum, which is there, versus recommended curriculum. There would be a session on feedback. It is a part of one of the master classes, and we'll be doing that there. Got it. I'm looking for more questions. How can I manage all these steps in short 40 minutes effectively? That's a very practical, nice question. And that's where things become, it's basically human nature. It becomes human. It comes to human behavior. So think about it like this. Imagine you are not a marathon runner, or you're not a mountaineer. You're not a mountain climber, and you're there doing it for the first day. Would it be easy for you? Imagine if you had to do a marathon of 42 kilometers tomorrow morning. Do you think you'd be able to do it? I'm sure no, right? But now you identify what does it take to run a 42-kilometer long marathon, and you start working on it, and one after the other, one after the other, you keep working on those milestones, and a month later you are in a position that you can do half of the marathon. There are half marathons, 21.6 kilometers, and then you keep practicing more, and then after another month you're able to do full marathon. And that is the time when you will realize I could have never thought of running a marathon, running 42.2 kilometers in one go. But you were able to do that, 43.2 kilometers in one go. But you were able to do that because you practiced and you prepared yourself. In a very similar way, to implement all of these things, you will have to practice one after the other. You will have to learn all these skills. And that is when it will become your second nature. And that is when you'll be able to implement it effectively without thinking too much. It becomes a part of your second nature. And that's how all of those successful teachers, you change their classroom setting, you change their learning environment from physical to online. For them it's second nature, right? It's not about whether you're running a marathon in the US or whether you're running the marathon in Dubai or you're running a marathon in India. You're running a marathon and you know how to run a marathon, and that's what we have to learn, right? So think about it like that. Think about it from that perspective. Which curriculum can be called as the best one? No curriculum is best curriculum, and no curriculum is the worst curriculum. Completely depends on requirements and the infrastructure available. There are certain curricula which has, okay, every curriculum will have embedded in it that how do you assess the learners. So there might be a curriculum which has embedded that assessment has to be done in XYZ format, which requires a lot of infrastructure, a lot of resources, but the school might not be able to afford it. So for them, that curriculum becomes the worst curriculum. But then there'll be a school who might be able to afford that and much more. So that curriculum becomes the best curriculum. So there is no standard answer to what is a good curriculum and bad curriculum. Um, Completely depends on your requirements and your situation. Superb. Good. I see a lot of questions and people helping each other, and it's so beautiful. It's so lovely when somebody asks a question and the other teachers come around and help them and start helping them in finding solutions, and that's where things become so beautiful. So beautiful. Let me look for some more uh, questions, and then we pick it up. Mm, nice. Okay, somebody's asking what is regressive curriculum. Believe me, I have no idea. But I'll find out and I'll make a video and I post the video for you. Somebody from my team, can you make a note on making a video on regressive curriculum? We have to share it with the learners, but I have no idea right now. Sorry. And believe me, guys, I don't know everything. I know some things here and there, which I come and share with you guys and try to make it simple. And that's what I do. And that's what the entire team here does. We might not know everything, but we promise that we'll try to find out about it and we'll come back to you with it. So just basic thought, regressive is something which is basically pulling somebody down. So regressive curriculum might be, okay, let me not even attempt it. I think I have an idea, but I would not want to share it till the time I'm not really confident about it. So, yep. Got it. So more or less, I think we have most of the things sorted. Let's close the session here in time then, guys. Sorry for the initial sound and voice problems. You're trying to try these new things, and at the end, it all worked out well. Thank you so much for your time. I hope we were able to add value to you over the last 2 hours. it's an entire team which works on the content and simplifying the content. Basically, identifying topics and then speaking on that is easy. Making sure that you're speaking in a way or you're sharing in a way that everybody's engaged and everybody learns some basic thing. And thousands of people are going to be learning from this masterclass, right? So how do we make sure that people coming from different geographies, different cognitive abilities, different structures, different systems are still able to learn? That is what takes time. And I would like to thank the entire academic team at Suraasa, the entire technology team, marketing team, support team, who have been making all of this available. All of this, they've been enabling all of this for all of us. I'll request you all to put your hands together and let's thank everybody who's worked behind the scenes, the entire Suraasa team, on making teachers more successful and giving more and more growth to teachers. I would also like to thank all the participants who have been talking about ITO, about Suraasa online. I've been receiving so many mails from different parts of the world, actually. People reaching out and saying one of my friends did ITO, or one of our two school teachers did ITO, and they told us about Suraasa, and we would like to know more about you guys and everything. I really, really thank you all. uh, I think it's been a pleasure working closely with all of you, and we'll make sure that we'll keep adding more value to you. Uh, Please take care of yourself. The weather is changing in most parts of the world right now. So please make sure that you take care of yourself and you take care of others around you, and focus on learning. And you have recommendations of how many hours to study on curriculum, pedagogy, and technology in your domain reports. Make sure you complete those many number of minutes and number of hours. We have done our part. We have shared resources. We have done everything. Please make sure you do your part. 6 months later, on the other side of 6 months, we all want each one of you to be super successful. So take care of yourself. Keep doing the right things. Transfer some time from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok to Suraasa, masterclasses, uh, learning materials, all of those things, and make sure that you're growing. All the best to all of you. See you soon. Bye bye.